welcome back to the very special episode of Heels Up. I am Vlad St. Valentine. With me, as always, is the one who matters, Mr. Reggie Lincoln. How's it going?
Oh, man, what's up, man? Everything's all right with me.
Another day in paradise, yeah?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right, and manning the helm with us again is Mr. Caden Ramos. How's it going, buddy?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Excellent, guys. We're going to do a quick Clash of Champions review. We're going to make this very long. We're going to, keep it short, sexy, just like myself. Don't contradict that. All right, guys, let's see. What the hell was up first? I don't even fucking remember.
Well, during the pre-show, they announced that 3 women would not be competing today. That was Nikki Cross and women's tag team champion, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
So, yeah, 3 of the women out for tonight's competition. Bayley would get a replacement later on the night, but the women's tag team match was just off completely because, well, there's no tag team champions. It's not like there's a challenger to replace here. So as a result of the announcement of the 3 women being out tonight, we kind of got a rearrangement of the matches because it was supposed to be Asuka versus Zelina on the pre-show. Instead, we ended up getting the SmackDown Tag Team Champion match between Lucha House Party and Cesaro and Shinsuke, which...
It was Kalisto and who else?
Kalisto and Lindsay were tagging together.
Yeah, which they have been really at odds. So, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, the two that have been having the most issues with each other were tagging tonight, but they actually didn't play that up really in the match. And it was actually kind of a waste.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in that, man.
Because they just got beat outright without there being any dissension between them to cause the rift to go any further. They just got beat up by the tag team champions who are superior to them. And it just makes them look like they just need to get their ass back to 205 Live or main event or whatever the hell because...
Lucha Underground.
The match between Lucha House Party and Shinsei and Cesaro was a good match because it's always great when these guys all get in the ring together. They work very well together. They can put on a damn good match together. But
most definitely.
Lucha House Party, like the other tag team challengers we'll see later on, have had it. They just they don't.
They're done.
Yeah. And the way they went out tonight, like we said, without them having the dissension be the cause of them losing clean like this, it just definitely detracts because they didn't have much credibility going into this anyway.
No,
because they didn't have a long history of winning.
But they had more experience as a tag team than the current champions. But somehow,
yeah, man. But I don't know. All in all, pretty good match. It's just a little shocking that they didn't use the animosity between the members of the Lucha House Party to cause their loss. So it seems to be a missed storytelling opportunity.
Maybe this will play out on SmackDown. I don't know. So next we go into our show with our first match, the Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship match.
Got Sami Zayn taking on Jeff Hardy, taking on AJ Styles, the champ, and the uncrowned champ, as he likes to call himself. So, or no, excuse me, the champ, the champion, and the uncrowned champ. How about that?
That one works.
I guess.
This was, and you know what? You're the only one who got this one right. Sammy and I both call, or I can't use Sammy and Sammy. Kate and I both called for Jeff, and you called for Sammy.
Yep. Yes. He retained.
So yeah, he did retain. He retained. This was a pretty brutal match, man. Sammy was taking some brutal bumps off of the ladders. That pinballing in the corner looked pretty vicious. And Jeff Swanton threw him through the ladder later on was just oof.
Well, Jeff's getting sandwiched in the ladder too. That was
Jeff's getting
bad.
sandwiched. Yeah. When he tipped it over.
Yeah.
That one didn't look as bad to me as some of the other ones. It looked like he was able to kind of control his fall a little bit, but that
Broken Matt would be disappointed.
It looked like it hurt. Let's put it that way. Nothing in this match didn't look like it hurt. And then when Sami Zayn whips out the handcuffs and puts one through Jeff's ear and then the other, I was like, well, that goes it. That's it for our chances here.
Yeah.
Handcuffing himself and then dead weighting AJ was absolutely hilarious and just
it was genius.
Yeah, it's what makes Sami Zayn what we like about heel Sami Zayn. It's that smart as a fox type, that devious. It's what makes him endearing. It's the best part of his character. I still don't know why he's dressing like Fidel Castro because his personality hasn't changed, but whatever.
And it doesn't match at all, but.
No, his music neither.
No, it definitely is face music. He needs something a little less peppy. So,
because once the crowd comes back, they're gonna be singing along with that music.
Yeah, you can't help it. I want to sing along with it every time. It's like the
like
Becky Lynch's. You want to sing along to? It's the same kind of woes, punk Irish guy sort of thing going on there. And then you got who else do you always sort of sing along
Early
with?
days, Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wondered who the Shinsuke was with that. Yeah, that's a good point. So Sammy wins, and he retains. It was a good match all around. A lot of brutal spots. I mean, lighter matches just have a pin shot for being dramatic as it is, and this one didn't disappoint. But we were kind of talking about this earlier, as far as sometimes you get matches. When you get these concept matches, sometimes the first ones just create something that can never be topped, and we just try every year going into it, getting excited that it's TLC, it's become its own pay-per-view. It's Hell in a Cell, it's its own pay-per-view. But like, have you watched a single Hell in a Cell match that ever lived up to The Undertaker versus Mankind?
No.
Have you ever watched a TLC match that lived up to the tag team triple threat match from WrestleMania 17?
No.
Or whatever it was.
No.
No, not at all.
So I mean, I like the matches and stuff. And this ladder match, just like almost ladder matches, had a lot of dramas, a lot of high spot. Hardy and Sammy knows how to tell a story in any ring. Hardy knows how to work these ladder matches well, and AJ can work with anybody. All around, this was probably one of the best matches of the night.
Yep, that's for sure. And still,
you're Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn. Well, Drew Gulak won the 24-hour title after that, but we're not counting that because it's not a title; it's a prop.
Hey, but it's Clash of Champions. That title got defended. It got defended more than the women's tag team title.
R-Truth was running around dressed like a 49er the whole time, or Stinky Pete from Toy Story 2. For those of you who don't know what a 49er is, the Truth goofy gimmick, I guess. It's Clash of Champions. You gotta have it defended, I guess, at some point in time. But Akira Tozawa, of course, was not there to compete because he was eaten by a shark.
Yes.
All right, so next up, we got our World Women's title, Selena Vega versus Asuka. The one that nobody's ready for.
Well, Zelina certainly won because she got her ass whooped from, pillar to post for most of this match.
She definitely did.
I mean, she got some of her little, I crawl on you and put you in an arm bar type crap, but even Asuka was powering out of that.
The little offense she got was great, though. It really was.
Zelina's a great wrestler. She's a great technical wrestler.
She is.
And she can, you remember we were talking the other day about Mickey James and it looking like, your friends trying to put wrestling moves on you and we just weren't fluid. Your limbs are kind of flailing out everywhere. And, nothing is tight and nothing looks precise. Because we take for granted how easy wrestlers make these moves look. Because the average asshole tries to lock up. We can't figure out how they make it look just crisp and clean every damn time. Mickey looks sloppy. Zelina makes everything look fluid and it flows perfectly.
That's a future champion.
Yeah, well, I don't know that she needs the championship necessarily.
She's not right now.
She'd have to go Alexa Bliss style where she's the conniving heel type champion because she's size-wise, I don't see her beating up Nia Jax, do you? I can't buy that. I don't know, man. It's just like when I like Zelina, I don't think Zelina needs to have a championship to be effective at what she does, but when she get, one or two runs, I don't guess it's not a bad deal, but I mean, I like what she's doing. I like the fluidity and that exchange into the pin exchange into the Asuka lock.
Yeah, that was money. So smooth.
Vega into a cover. Asuka.
So smooth.
And that was good. Beautiful. But yeah, she does tap to the Asuka lock almost immediately. Afterwards, Asuka gives her a little bit of credit, tries to shake her hand, and Zelina acts like she's going to bow, and she gets her to bow. And guys, we all learned this in Ninja Turtles.
Good. Never lower your eyes to an enemy.
Yes, Master Tetsu.
So up next, we have Bobby Lashley defending his United States Championship versus Apollo Crews, which, do I even need to tell you how this match ended? Tell you what, I'll give you 5 guesses and the first 4 don't count. All right? You don't fucking need them.
It was obvious from the beginning from the beginning of the story, not just the match, but the beginning of the story.
You can't have these guys come out and get just their ass whooped every single time and have us keep wanting to see them fight.
It's insane.
Sick of seeing it. Hope this is done after this. I pray to Jesus it's done after this. But eventually Bobby is going to win with the hurt lock. Apollo does get some of his offense in. It's not just a complete squash, but you might as well just go out and take it a piss because we didn't have any Cedric. He wasn't there. So the Hurt Business didn't get involved. Ricochet getting involved, just MVP talking some shit on the outside, which was golden, by the way. He's gold.
Of course.
The fact that he wears black and gold is perfect because the man is gold. But this was just further proof that the Hurt Business is way more dominant than Apollo and his buddies. So
that's a fact.
Jack.
All right. So up next we have the Raw Tag Team titles. The Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza. And although I did pick one team, I just wanted a swerve there, man. I just knew what was going to happen. I just expected a swerve. Not even going to lie to you.
Yeah. Your hindsight is 2020. I'm only gloating because without him losing this one, we wouldn't have tied for victory tonight. So I needed that. I haven't lost one yet, and this was enough to keep me on my throne. Yeah, the match was really good.
It was.
I don't know that A&A weren't supposed to walk out with the titles, though. They may have been meant to because they were going over pretty well, but Angel hits a Spanish fly, and he lands on his head, and after that, everything he does is just pure instinct. So Dawkins hits kind of a pop-up power slam on Andrade. Andrade obviously kicks out at 2, but the ref is like 3, ding, ding, ding. Everyone looks confused. Eventually, we kind of get a camera shot of the outside, and the medics are checking on Angel. Apparently, he concussed himself on the Spanish fly. So
nothing's been official yet, but the way that he landed was bad.
Yeah.
It was. It really was.
So Street Profits retain. After that, we kind of get told we're going to have the 2020 draft coming up on October 9th, wasn't it? Hold on, let me go to the notes here. Yeah, starting October 9th on SmackDown, carrying into the next Raw. We're going to do the 2020 draft, which we were kind of like, why? We were talking about this, like, why don't they do the draft like right after WrestleMania, which is supposed to be like the Super Bowl, the big blow off, everything.
The end of the year match.
Everything culminates to that point. And then you do the draft right after on the next night, mix things up and start it all fresh.
No, because that's when they do the NXT call-ups. That's when they bring them up.
I don't know, but I think Payback's a terrible fucking idea for a pay-per-view because it's basically saying, hey, that big thing that we built to all year long, we're going to have this pay-per-view afterwards. It's going to kind of negate some of that crap. So don't pay that close attention. Get rid of Payback. Just do away with Payback. And then make it to where some people don't have the chance to get revenge after WrestleMania. Make the WrestleMania the penultimate point of all these rivalries, and you just start them all fresh by mixing it up the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
While we're at it, combine your tag team championship titles. So after we find out about the draft, we have another title exchange backstage. Drew Gulak is doing an interview after winning the 24/7 championship, and he first sends his condolences out to Akira Tozawa's family since he was eaten by sharks. Our hats off to him. If we can get a memorial Akira Tozawa thing, that'd be nice.
I'll do something.
All right, cool. I will remember you.
That's it. That's all we can do.
All right, cool. I don't think we can do that much. I will. That's all you can use. So.
All right. So next up, we have our SmackDown Women's Championship with Bayley and we don't have a challenger. Nikki's not medically cleared to wrestle, so Bayley go ahead and start being obnoxious with her chair and everything like that.
Yes, but standing out here yelling rabble, rabble, rabble isn't going to help anything.
But we don't know what else to do, Mayor.
Yeah, but after, the Asuka comes out and accepts the challenge. I bet you Bayley wasn't ready for that.
Well, she wasn't, but her old friend Cherry McChairface was because she whips that son of a bitch out just pretty quickly and causes a DQ. Wasn't much of a match. Asuka was all over Bayley from the get-go, but we just had to do something to fill time because we had to cancel 2 matches and they didn't have that much time to fill. So shit, Bayley, get out there. You're still here. And So after Bailey causes the DQ by hitting Asuka with the chair, Sasha Banks attacks from behind. She's still rocking the neck brace, and she attacks Bailey with the chair. They kind of get into a little bit. Bailey gets back on top, of course, because Sasha's rocking that neck injury, and she's gonna set some chairs up and do something kind of nasty to Sasha, but Sasha ends up grabbing the kendo stick and whipping Bailey's ass on out of there. And
Well, Dom must have been there.
she'd be like, "Can I borrow this stick from you? Thanks, man. Appreciate it." But again, this was nothing. This was just to get us through the night and to just keep Bailey on television and keep the rivalry between Bailey and Sasha going on. Because they didn't really have anybody to put in the match tonight because Nikki's sick.
Really?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah. So next up, we have our WWE title match, the ambulance match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, which this one was, how can I describe this? Violent.
It was pretty violent. We got some pretty cool surprises for the night, though, being a DQ match. Randy gets attacked several times by several people he's pissed off over the last few weeks. Pretty much all the legends kind of come back and make their presence known, starting with the Big Show, who drags Randy out of the ring and choke slams him through a table. And the second I saw that, I was like, okay, if Randy does that and wins like Dave Meltzer was kind of reporting he was going to do, Drew's going to look like a major damn chump.
He really would.
You can't have, him get interference. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was with you. Like, he really would. You can't have people interfere to attack Randy and then Drew just lose.
Yeah, it makes Randy look like he's like, if Randy's the face and you have him be the overcoming face against all these odds, that's one thing, but you don't do that with the heel, especially against a face you want to keep strong.
And especially with the heel that burns his bridges as well.
Yeah. Because Meltzer was saying the reason they picked the ambulance match was to get the strap off Drew without making him look weak by taking a pin. But he still would have, you had all that interference, so it was definitely, once I saw that, I was like, okay, either they're going to just destroy Drew with bad writing or he going over. And luckily we got the latter as opposed to the former.
Yes.
After that, though, the fight does spill backstage after the show attack, and Christian comes out and he attacks. And Randy does end up looking a little bit stronger than Drew because each time he's attacked by someone, he eventually does fight his way back to a point where Drew's in peril and someone has to save him 3 times. So it does make Drew look a little weak if you forget about the jaw injury and how devastating just getting hit in the jaw was for him, because he was selling that like it was death for him almost.
Oh, yeah.
And then Randy was targeting his knee. So selling the knee, selling the jaw, which basically just gave the Legends enough time to do their run-ins while he was acting down. But him going down so much, Randy could have won that match 3 times over is what it made it seem like. So I don't know if it was the best way to make Drew look strong because of it, but it was a lot of fun. So give and take, man. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But after that, they're outside, back on the ambulance. Drew gets whipped back into the windshield and gets his back all lacerated and climbs up to the roof and he's like dangling. He like ends up trying to slide off the roof and he's like dangling from the top here. And it's like that scene from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where like they're trying to push the McPoyles off the roof, but it's like just a 10-foot drop, but it's like even less. He's like a 2-foot drop to the ground. It's like, no, it's like, first of all, you slid your own ass off the side. Now Randy's stopping your foot. Just let go. It's 2 feet. You're like 6'20".
Yeah, like he's tall enough. He should have been able to stand on the back of the ambulance.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
You notice they didn't pan down to show his legs, right?
Yeah, the doors were open.
Yeah. They didn't pan down to show his legs because he would have seen my tippy toes holding on still.
Yeah.
Dumb. But it allowed Shawn Michaels to climb behind Randy, give him a nice super kick, and then the pushover, which was just...
Yeah, that was great. That was my favorite part of the night.
And gave him the cross chop. Like, that's not very Christian, is it?
Sometimes it's necessary. But after that, Randy gets a Claymore, and then Drew throws him in the back and decides that's not enough, pulls him back out. And I was like, oh, you're throwing away the match. Randy's got to figure out something and RKO you out of nowhere. And this gonna be, but no, luckily that's not what happened. Drew just gave him a punt and sent him on home. So it was pretty satisfying for everyone to get a little bit of retribution on Randy for, the torment he's been putting everybody through for the last few weeks.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of retribution, I am so glad they didn't show up.
Very happy we didn't see retribution tonight. Guys, after this, we go into our final match, the Universal Championship match between Jay Uso and his cousin, the big dog, the tribal chief, the head of the fucking table, greasy Jason Momoa, whatever the hell you want to call him.
Great storytelling in this.
Yeah.
Great storytelling.
This was more about the story than the match. Roman did let his cousin get some moves in, but it was definitely cool to see Roman tell the story with his family and the way they definitely emphasized the family and all this. Jay shows a lot of heart, but he gets 2 spears and Roman will not put him away until Jay admits, basically admits that he's the tribal chief and submits to his rule. You got to think about these like as a feudal thing, you got to think of these like feudal lord type attitude, and there's no room for weakness when establishing your dominance, especially over family. They can be the fucking trickiest. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful story being told.
I want to see how it goes on from here. Because eventually Jimmy comes and limps out and tries to throw the towel in, and Jay's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And Roman just starts beating his ass, and Jimmy just can't take it anymore and throws the towel in. Roman still doesn't stop whipping him out his ass until Jimmy crawls his butt in the ring and like covers Jay up. And he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? We are family."
Yeah.
Like you want to be the big dog? You want to be the chief? Fine, you're the chief. Whatever. Just what the fuck? Lay off of him.
Yeah.
Like basically Jimmy bent the knee. This was a Game of Thrones moment, was what this was. All right.
Yeah.
This was a Game of Thrones moment, and Jay got his butt whipped, so Jimmy bent the knee. You know what I mean? So he bent the knee for the family. If they go into a heel family stable after this, which is what I think they were talking about doing, I'm down for it. But I hope that if they don't do this, it'll be fine. But I hope that they keep the seed of treachery in the Usos because they want revenge on Roman forcing them into submission.
Yeah.
As opposed to just, because I guarantee you, he could have stopped all this and just said, join me. And it would have been all good.
Yeah.
And they would have been like, yeah, you lead the way because like always, we got your back.
We'll make this the bigger penitentiary.
Yeah, it didn't have to be that way. Roman made it that way. So hopefully there's some comeuppance for it at some point, but I don't know if there will be.
We even saw some sympathy from Paul a little bit too. Like,
well, even Roman looked like he wasn't sure about what he had to do. He didn't look like he was pleased with having to do what he had to do.
Yeah, afterwards.
So, but yeah, during it, even Paul was like, "You are the chief." He's like, "I don't want to hear it from you." He's got to say it. Yeah, that's what this is about.
You're already getting your extra 5%.
That's that. It's about.
Like, I'm paying you already.
It's about dominating the family. To which he's like, "I'm the reason the family eats." I'm like, I'm pretty sure that Rocky man.
Yeah. Which could set up for The Rock coming back at WrestleMania
to whip Roman's ass for being a punk ass bitch. You ain't the head of this fucking chiefdom. I am. I would watch that. I would too.
I would too.
I would love.
That's
what
I want to see now. The Rock versus Roman,
and that would be one of the few times that I would want a returning legend to beat a current roster person. Because I always say that's a bad thing to do because you want the current roster to be up, and legends just need to come back and put people over. Everyone's being a dick. This is. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this review of Clash of Champions. I believe Reggie and I tied for first, and Caden got second. But we've got some new rules for something we're gonna come up with, guys. We just thought of this. So going forward, we're going to start over our little league here competitively. And from now on, each of us is going to bring a terrible movie to the table. And the 2 losers have to watch the winner's video. In the case of a tie, as Reggie and I tied this time, the previous winner keeps their championship. That is the champion advantage. Now, it's not going to count for me, because we're going to start anew next time around.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm saying that's the only way I could think to break a tie, the champion advantage. So to beat a champion, you actually have to outscore them. You can't tie with them. But because you got to have 2 losers. Otherwise, one person's reviewing a video. And
nobody wins the championship by double counting. I get it.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how we're going to do it from now on, guys. We're going to bring some of the worst movies and try and torture the other 2 of us by making them watch and review the thing. So should be fun or it should be miserable. Either way, we should all have a bloody good laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. Say hi to your mother for me. See you later.